are you doing?
I'm burying you.
I'm alive! I'm alive!
You're waking the neighbors!
No!
Shut up!
No!
What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. You've all seen the meme. You know what time it is. It's happening. Ron Paul time, but it's actually happening. It's actually happening. It's going down. For months, I have speculated that there is no way that they're getting rid of Joe Biden on the ticket. In fact, I've brought on authors of pieces like this in order to speculate how hard it would be, actually, to get rid of Joe Biden, who already has like 2,000 delegates because they rigged, of course, the Democrat primary process in order to make sure that Joe Biden was able to cruise into simple victory. And now they've got themselves in a bit of a jam here, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. This is an article that was written a few weeks ago. And the author, of course, was panned in the press. Secret Democrat plot to replace Joe Biden revealed how Clinton, Obama, Pelosi, and Schumer could topple the aging president. And when they do it, incredible how prescient this article actually is. But I want to just focus on one particular thing. I want to focus on the fact that this article names one person in particular. And that person in particular is Nancy Pelosi. Not Obama, not Jill, Nancy. Nancy Pelosi is, without question, one of the most corrupt, but also one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful person in the Democrat Party right now. She controls an enormous amount of money. She controls every Democrat in the House. And now the wall has broken. This is the breaking news right now. Nancy Pelosi has cartoonishly and embarrassingly, up to this point, defended Joe Biden and his senility on national TV.
There's any chance he does not continue running?
I hope not. I hope not. I mean, this president...
David Ignatius recently came out saying he thinks the former president should not run.
Yeah, so that's one.
That's one person. All the reporting says watch Pelosi. If Joe Biden's really going to be replaced, you need to watch Pelosi. Now, we've been watching Pelosi for the last couple of weeks, right? And before the debate, here's what Pelosi sounded like.
Be prouder of him. And again, we're very fortunate that he is in that position. But again, age is relative. I was in L.A. For some Democratic stuff recently, and I met with Norman Lear, who's 100, going on 101. He was telling me some new shows he was involved in. I was meeting with Frank Gehry, a 90-something architect, showing me new buildings he's building throughout the world. And they were like, 80, he's a kid. But again, it's relative. He's younger than I am, so.
Nancy Pelosi in recent clips also saying that it's Donald Trump who has dementia. You gotta look at, many doctors say that it's Donald Trump with the dementia. Joe Biden is the only way forward. This was as recently as this weekend.
Years. And I debate with him about legislation, and not debate, but discuss it with him. He's right there. So in any case, it was a bad night. Let's not sugarcoat that. It was a bad night. It was a great presidency.
Okay. So this is what Nancy Pelosi's been doing. She's been sucking in her dentures and defending Joe Biden ardently and vociferously up until this moment, ladies and gentlemen. Seconds ago, Nancy Pelosi went on national TV and she decided to betray Joe Biden. And this was the signal. This was the signal that we've been looking for. Nancy Pelosi turns on Joe Biden and turns the knife in Joe Biden's side, metaphorically. Politically, Nancy Pelosi looking very much like Michael Jackson in front of the Full House. So, probably an ankle monitor in that situation. I think it's a legitimate question to say, is this an episode or is this a condition? Oh my goodness. Nancy Pelosi went on national TV and straight up said, Joe Biden has a condition. Joe Biden actually probably is diseased. Listen to this.
Well, let me dial back for a moment.
Look at
given your
Michael
perspective,
Jackson. She looks just like Michael Jackson.
And many Democrats' perspective of what is at stake, that it's an existential moment for the country, according to your perspective, if Donald Trump is elected. that would posit that you have to have the most important campaign led by the most important nominee. And do you have questions as to whether this was a one bad night or whether there is something more serious involved and whether he needs to be more open about if he does have a medical condition, if he is slipping, everybody knows there's an age issue, and he certainly did the opposite of reassuring people with that high risk, potentially high reward debate plan that they came up with. It backfired.
Well, you asked me to speak from my experience, and my experience with Joe Biden is that in all the legislation that we passed to save the country with the rescue package, money in people's pockets, shots in their arms, children in school, people back to work, with the child tax credit, with the issues that were in the infrastructure bill, rebuilding the infrastructure of America in a very universal way where people can participate in those decisions. These TRIPS and Science Act to make us self-sufficient in the world, the PACT Act to honor the service of our veterans and help those who may have been affected by burn pits. The list goes on, and then the IRA. So we have all these things that he was masterful in helping to orchestrate, to write, and to pass. So he has a vision, he has knowledge, he has judgment, he has a strategic thinking, and the rest. He has a bad night. Now, again, I think it's a legitimate question to say, is this an episode or is this a condition? And so when people ask that question, it's completely legitimate of both candidates. Because
there it is. That's Nancy Pelosi doing her best to shield Joe Biden in one political sense, saying, oh yeah, we like Joe Biden, but then straight up throwing him under the bus. Does he have a condition? This is not something that you say lightly with somebody in Joe Biden's position. Nancy Pelosi also is effectively in charge of the U.S. House of Representatives and has never given up her speaker's gavel. And never will. It's far too lucrative to understand which stocks to insider trade. And so when you see something like this, you really have to stop and say, what's going on behind the scenes? A Democratic representative, who of course has to do this with only Nancy Pelosi's approval, has now called for Biden to withdraw. Democrat rep named Lloyd Doggett, who's from Texas, Austin, Texas, released the following statement. Joe Biden needs to resign. President Biden, blah, blah, blah. I represent the heart of the congressional district once represented by Lyndon Johnson under very different circumstances. He made the painful decision to withdraw. President Biden should do the same. While much of his work has been transformational, he pledged to be transitional, and he has the opportunity to encourage new generation of leaders, nominee who can unite around the country, blah, blah, blah. I'm hopeful he will make the painful decision to withdraw. So these are now what Democrats are saying. Right on the heels of Nancy Pelosi saying Joe Biden has a condition or was having an episode. Right on the heels of Tucker Carlson saying Joe Biden is done. Bet on it. Too many prominent Democrats have now suggested he's brain damaged. They can't walk it back. They have to remove him, and they will. The only question is when. If they're smart, they'll do it immediately. If Kamala is going to be the nominee, she might as well be president first. That leaves the question of Trump and his sentencing, which was just delayed. Biden's collapse makes this much more perilous. At this point, Trump is not just a Republican candidate, but he's the presumptive president. If you're going to put him in jail, it had better be for a serious crime that everybody agrees he committed. Otherwise, you risk destroying the system completely and forever. We're in legitimate danger. Democrats need to pull back, says Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson on a tirade on X, saying this is a real crisis that Democrats are not in control of right now because they have nobody who can beat Trump, and Trump's going to be our next president. Democrat mega donor says Biden team lied to us systematically over the years. Given the stakes, it's unforgivable. It's unconscionable. And listen, man, when the donors start turning on you, you have problems. We all enabled this situation. Dems turn on Biden as inner sanctum crumbles post-debate. The senior team's management of Biden has grown more strictly controlled as his term has gone on because his dementia's gotten worse. Sirens blare for Biden campaign as Trump inches ahead in state the GOP hasn't won in 24 years. The state would be New Hampshire, but also, shockingly, in New Mexico. Donald Trump is now tied with Joe Biden. Key Democrat donors threaten to pull plug if Biden doesn't resign. Furious party insiders reveal worst fears. How stupid do they think we are? Ooh, baby. So Nancy Pelosi has completely changed her tune from Joe Biden's a young kid and he's so sharp to Joe Biden has now has an episode, is now having episodes or conditions. How do you elect somebody who has a condition? Also, how do you elect somebody who you don't elect somebody who polls this bad? Nate Silver saying, talking about this new CNN poll, Biden does the worst of any Democrat in this poll, notably including Harris, which is a new trend since the debate. Hard to do with this much name recognition. So the CNN post-debate poll, which the Trump team is saying this means that we are winning, says that Donald Trump is up by 6. Up by 6, man. Dude. Donald Trump just dominates. And then dominates Newsom. He's up by 5 on Newsom, 2 Harris, 4 Buttigieg, 5 on Whitmer. Donald Trump just destroying. Jake Tapper saying that Democrat governors are now having complete panicked calls behind the scenes without the White House. This polling from CNN, Trump beats everybody they polled. Trump beats everyone. What are you going to do now? The poll is just devastating. Donald Trump, team, of course, hyping this. And Nancy Pelosi now, the wicked witch of the West, completely powered by martinis, is now finally saying Joe Biden has a condition. That was the signal. There it is. Light the torches. That's the signal. Ride to Rohan. It's done. Biden's done. Boy, it's cooked. Cooked. What comes next? I don't know. You better tune in, like, share, and subscribe. It's going to be wild. It's your boy Benny. See ya.